All right, we're going live, and the thing we have to remember, Pamela, is that there's a little bit of a delay from when we're broadcasting here on Zoom and when it shows up on Facebook.
On
So
Facebook.
we're
Okay.
live just about now there, but you see we've talked for a couple minutes. So
Okay.
I'm just excited that you had the time this afternoon so that we could get together and talk about some really, really important stuff.
I'm
We,
excited too.
I know we're living in a time where people are having to really step up to the plate and change their life in some ways very dramatically. And you and I have had the advantage of working from our home offices for years. So that transition didn't take place for us, but we each have had other personal things that have changed in our life since the whole stay at home orders have happened with COVID-19.
Mhm.
And lots of, I think, very heartfelt things have happened over time too. I know we share a friend whose husband died of COVID, but it's been what, 3 weeks now.
Yeah, several weeks. Yeah.
It's hard to believe, and that was the first wave of things going on, and then finding about someone else's father who had died, and other friends who I didn't realize had become ill. I found out through social media. So we're in a real new environment here, and most of our communicating between each other is happening through video, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I just miss being able to see you and giving you a big hug.
I know. I know. I've been on so many Zooms lately, and it's awesome, and I'm so grateful for the technology that we have, and also like you said that I already had the setup to work from home, but
Mhm.
there's something missing, there's still not that human connection, that human touch, the hugging people, standing next to people. There's not that transfer of physical energy. We don't get that through just this.
I know, I know. So um, we've got a couple of people who have popped on. We want to say hi to you. Thank you for joining us. I'm here with Pamela Zimmer, my self care concierge. She's also for other people too, but I feel a special connection to her. And today we're going to be talking about how she is supporting people right now through this exceptional time. I know I've been spending a lot of time helping people just to get onto Zoom or other video tools because that's my gift, but she has a really special gift around self care. And so you want to dive in a little bit, introduce yourself more fully, and describe to people what you do.
Hmm. Yes, I'd love to. Thank you, Marcia.
Yeah.
So I am your self-care concierge, and I help you take care of you on every level: physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual, so you can do what you were put on the planet to do. And I got into this work that I do now after 6 years of postpartum depression. And prior to that, I was an architect for 13 years. So I was really used to this plan and this structure and knowing what everything was going to look like. And then having kids and postpartum depression just turned my life completely upside down. But the beauty in that, the purpose that came out of that, was this lesson about self-care and how to really take care of myself, again, on all four of these levels: physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. So one of the things I love to do is work with people one-on-one, because self-care is such a unique individual practice. It's not the same for everyone. It's not just going to get your nails done, which I haven't done in a while. I have to do that today. That's Please don't look at them. It's more than that. Like that's the surfacey stuff, which is important, especially right now, when we're not feeling good inside. Sometimes we have to do these things on the outside to make us feel good, um, and kind of transfer the inside outside thing. But self-care is really this internal journey of finding what brings you joy and allowing yourself and giving yourself permission to explore and do those things and take care of you on every single level.
Well, I know that you and I have worked together in the past. I've experienced your wonderful retreat you had in Mexico this year where you were, able to do real intense support to a small group of people. And right now, you were sharing with me before this about an offer you have right now to help people one-on-one. Can you describe what that's like? And also, if you can, I didn't get a URL from you to where people could find out more information.
Oh,
Should they
yes.
just go to your website?
They can just, yeah, or just, they can message me. I don't have that particular offering on my website right now. It's something I usually reserve for my VIP clients, but it's really, I would say the heart of what I do with my clients, because it's working with them one-on-one, and it's essentially like having me in your back pocket where something happens. Oh my gosh, you can reach for me, you can text me, you can message me, you can Voxer me, whatever venue you want to communicate with. And then it's a once a week 15-minute laser focused private coaching call with me to talk about your self-care and what are you doing, how are you being accountable, what's working for you. Are you completely struggling in this time of uncertainty? Is the fear, is the worry, is all of the external noise getting to you? Or are you doing pretty good and you just want someone to help you stay at this higher level so that you can continue to move forward in your goals? And I do it this way. I have it set up this way with these laser focused calls because self-care doesn't take a whole lot of time, but it just takes the commitment to the time that we put towards it. And we can get a lot done in 15 minutes every single week. There is an initial call that we'll get on together if someone decides that that's the venue or the avenue that they want to do is work with me in that capacity. But these 15-minute weekly calls, we go so far because right off the bat, we eliminate all the like chit chat, how you doing, whatever. That's all the stuff that happens between those calls, right? What's going on today? How did that meeting go? How are you feeling? Did you follow through on your morning routine? How was your evening last night? Did you get outside yesterday? All these little touch points throughout the day, we get to check in with each other. And then so when we get on the phone and we're talking, it's what worked, what didn't work, what do you want to keep doing, what do you need to try differently, what do you have coming up in the upcoming week. So it's really, you might think 15 minutes isn't a long time to have a coaching call, but when we're doing it every week and you get access to me between that, it's really huge.
Mm-hmm. Well, I can definitely attest to that. Time for my testimonial, right?
Yeah. Talk about working with me, Marcia.
Yeah. I mean, being able to just have someone that I'm accountable to who will make sure that I stay on track, but also give me permission to be wherever I am. I think that is the beauty of working with you, Pamela. And you definitely keep me on track. You definitely, hold me accountable, but you do it with love and with grace. And you do it in such a way that no matter where I'm at, I feel no guilt.
Mm-hmm.
If I didn't achieve the goals that I had set for myself for some reason, I never heard a critical word from you. I heard love, I heard compassion, and I heard just a presence of someone there holding space for me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think, 15 minutes goes quickly, but it's so targeted and so focused. I always felt like I knew where I was going, and I had a chance for just a few minutes to take the time out with someone else who could objectively take a look at what I had done, listen to me for a couple of minutes, and help me with my next steps. So I think, it's a beautiful process to go to, and it's one that just keeps you moving and keeps you in a space where someone else cares and someone else is going to hold your hand through it. And in your case, it's there's no judgment. It's different than having, your partner or one of your children,
Mhm.
giving you unconditional love.
Right.
It's pretty kind of difficult to really
Yeah.
be unconditional love. But you come real damn close.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. I love working with you because you are open to suggestions and trying things a different way, and also understanding that self-care is a practice.
Yeah.
There's no perfection. It's a practice. And what do you do in a practice? You try something. And if it works, great, do more of it. And if it doesn't work, okay, then we shift. We
Mm-hmm.
renegotiate with ourselves. We renegotiate with the commitment that we set for ourselves. And
Mm-hmm.
that's totally fine.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And you were talking earlier too about accountability. And I mean, your life isn't 100% happy, right? I mean, you stumble. What happened to you earlier this week? You had a real great post
Oh
on
my
Facebook
gosh.
about it.
Yeah, this week was it started off challenging, one with the internet not working. And so I was kind of joking, but then kind of not, thinking like, well, if I'm in quarantine, at least let me have internet and let it be sunny outside. And I didn't have either of those things. So my mood went way, way down. And I just was not my normal positive smiling self unless I had to be. And then Wednesday was a really rough day for me emotionally. We got the official news here in Nevada about schools being closed, and that it just hit me. It hit me really, really hard. And so I had to let myself cry on and off throughout the day and sit on the couch with popcorn and a blanket and watch documentaries. And I learned a lot about Antarctica. So if anyone wants to know what it's like to live in Antarctica for a year, I'd be happy to tell you because that's what I watched. And I just had to give myself permission to renegotiate my goals with myself and then reach out for support. So I know that accountability is important. And so I had to go reach out to the people that I knew would hold me accountable to flipping the switch on my mood. And, one of those people was my husband, and he kept saying, go outside, go outside, go outside. So yesterday it was sunny out finally, and he made me go down by the river, which is sort of my spot. And the people that know me, the people that hold me accountable, and I have another coach who she knows that too. She knows that the river's my spot. And so when I text her, like, oh, I'm having a crappy day, she's like, well, go down to the river. I'm like, I don't want to. She's like, no, go. And so that's sort of, if I flip that around, like that's what I would do for someone else. That's what I would do
Mhm.
for any one of my clients.
Yes.
Is once I know what triggers a positive mood in you, what triggers you to be productive and happy and efficient and your best self, I'm going to hold you accountable to that, just in the same way that I had other people hold me accountable to do what I needed to do to fill myself up.
Hmm. So, what should people be doing right now, do you feel? What are you seeing rising to the top of things that people aren't paying attention to that they ought to, that you could give advice about?
I think there's one thing that none of us are really prepared for. We talked about technology, and everyone's on Zoom right now, which is phenomenal and it's fantastic. But being somewhere where you're just staring at a screen all day long can really suck the energy out of you. It can really drain you emotionally. It can mess with your sleep cycle. It can mess with just everything. I found myself the first couple weeks of quarantine, when we were on Zoom a lot, I was getting headaches and I just wasn't sleeping. And so I would say pay attention to your screen time in the same way that we tell our kids not so much screen time. I
Mm-hmm.
think as us as adults and as entrepreneurs and business people, pay attention to that. Give breaks between those Zooms as much as possible. Get outside. Get outside, get outside, get outside, especially if it's sunny outside. Go outside and move your body. whatever that looks like. If it's walking around the block, if it's walking a lap around your house, because the weather's not good, but move your body, do something. There are so many videos and free accessible online workouts you can do. I know my yoga studio and my Pilates studio are both doing online classes for me and for all of us. But just get outside, move your body, be mindful of how much time you are actually staring at a screen. And then just try to stay in that mindset of, I still get to give myself permission to have my morning routine and my evening routine. I know sometimes routines are not the same right now. We kind of go day by day, especially with the kids at school, and my husband's working from home full time now. So it's like every day, okay, what do you have going on today? Who's doing what with who at what time? What kid has a Zoom with what teacher? And oh, I have a meeting. Well, he's got a science Zoom and he needs help with his math. So it's exciting. We'll call it exciting. Every day is an adventure, but we also have to remember, okay, where can I get in that me time? I have the concept of bookending your day. Start with you, end with you. And so if we can do those things, again, mindful of screen time, get outside, move your body, stay hydrated. Those are great places to start.
And don't you think there's really kind of a divide here? There are people who are literally out of work and cannot work from home. So they have a lot more time on their hands. And then there are folks like us who actually are more busy than ever, even though, we're still at our own offices doing our own work, but there seems to be, I don't know, a multiple effect to the work that needs to be done. How do you address those differences, and how can people, take on and make some of these changes in their life you're recommending?
Yeah, that's a great question. And we did talk about it, that there's kind of these two sides. People are either have so much time on their hands that they don't know what to do, and they're used to being busy, and now they're just sitting here like, oh, I'm not used to being quiet, or I'm not used to being alone, I'm not used to having nothing to do. So I would say for those people, now would be a great time to give yourself permission to figure out what it is that brings you joy, what fills you up, what can you do, what can you start, what can you add into your day, that could become a new skill or a new hobby. Or maybe it's reading a new book, maybe it's learning a new skill, maybe it's learning how to cook a new dish or something, or maybe it's gardening now that spring is here. But just finding something that is fulfilling and purposeful, and it's not just sitting on the couch and watching Netflix. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but we can't just do that all the time. There's intention and thought behind that. So if you do it every now and then, and you're doing it for the right reason, it's fine. But we can't just come out of this with, well, I finished Netflix, like those memes going around, right? So have a purpose, have something that you want to work towards. There was also a meme going around somewhere that said, if you come out of this without a new skill or something, whatever, that you didn't lack time, you lacked discipline. And I kind of agree with that, but I kind of don't agree with that, because that doesn't work for the people like you and me, who we are feeling more busy now than we were before. I have 2 kids at home now who they're, kind of mid-adolescent age, 9 and 12. And so they do still need support and help with schoolwork and getting online to access their Zoom and figuring out when that Zoom is with their teacher, and keeping them occupied in a positive way, so they're not just, fighting. And my husband's working home working full time from home too. So it's nice having them here, but it's just different energy, different dynamic. We can't go anywhere like we used to. So maybe we have more time on the weekends, but we're still now getting caught up with, okay, we just went grocery shopping. Now we got to clean all the groceries before we put them away. And, so I wouldn't say that I have a lack of discipline because I'm not learning a new skill. I say I have more responsibilities right now at home. And it's more important now. It's important, so important now more than ever that I really dive into my self-care and again, have that accountability and I take time for myself throughout the day. Again, whatever that looks like. And again, that's why these laser focused 15-minute calls a week are so great no matter where you are. Because if you're like us and you're crazy busy, we can fit them in. And if you're on the other spectrum where you're like, I'm going insane because I'm used to being so busy and now I can't be, then it gives you direction every day.
So sorry, I had my microphone muted because my husband's using the printer from upstairs and it's right behind my seat here. So I can't stop it. I know it's a 15-page document, so we'll just kind of wait it out. But yeah, that's life right now, right?
It's life. It's unexpected, right? Like it's totally unexpected.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we just have to go with it. We have to be flexible.
I've been doing live meetings when my cats try to break through my door in my office.
Yeah.
You just never know.
Yeah, I just painted, so I don't have my office completely back together yet because I haven't had time to really do it because I'm still working. And so I usually have curtains on the doors there and I can see like when the kids run by or Braden will like peer in the window trying to ignore him.
Well, your husband walked by there a few minutes
ago. A couple times, I know. At least he's dressed, right?
Yes, yes. I know. Well, I think these are all really great tips. And I think even if we just remember one of them, you know, I mean, it's like anything else. You can have a laundry list of possibilities. That's kind of how I look at what you just shared. But what can really fit into my life and what can I really do right now for myself? And I loved your simple suggestion of the bookend. Start with yourself in the morning and start with yourself in the evening. And I do that because I, have a morning ritual before I get out of bed. I have to say what I'm grateful for. I have this beautiful view out my window so I can see, whether it's going to be a stormy, crazy day like we've had for earlier in this month or the beautiful weather that we've got coming right now. And then at night, I always end my evening listening to a meditation before I go to sleep.
Perfect.
And that keeps me sane. The rest of the day can go to hell in a handbasket, but I at least know I have that. So I love that.
I know you've worked hard towards that because I know when we were working together, you didn't have a morning routine like that. And that was something that we worked together on. And now look at you go.
I know.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah.
So
I just want to say one more time too, like if there's someone watching that you're not sure if these accountability calls are right for you, then let's at least just have a conversation. It doesn't cost anything to have a conversation. There's no obligation. I won't offer something that's not right for someone. The monthly cost for the accountability calls, these 15-minute calls and access to me between calls, it's only $100 a month right now, which is the lowest I've ever offered this. Again, like I said, I usually reserve this program along with something else for my VIP clients, but I want everyone to be able to have access to ensuring they have a self-care practice because we have to maintain being the best version of ourselves for our families right now, our communities, and to keep our mission going out into the world.
Yes, it's so true. And if we don't do it, it's going to
No one's
be
gonna do it for us.
really ugly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Self-care is personal. So if we don't take responsibility and ownership for ourselves, no one's gonna do it for us.
Yes, yes, that's really cool. Well, so
Mhm.
um, we've had people popping in and out. Before we go, can you describe your program again for the people who've joined us after you
Yeah.
described it?
Yeah, so I call them self-care planning calls, and it starts with an initial half-hour call with me so that you and I can talk about what self-care looks like to you, because everyone is individual in their self-care needs and wants. And then it's a 15-minute private weekly laser focused coaching call with me. And then between those calls, you get access to me via text or messenger, Voxer, or whatever um, venue we decide. But I really call it's like having me in your back pocket, because you can text me all day long. This is coming up. I don't know what to do. All of a sudden I'm sad, or, oh my gosh, I just had a huge win and I want to share it with you, and we can celebrate that. We can renegotiate and kind of navigate and be flexible throughout the week together. And then when we get on these calls once a week, again, 15-minute laser focus, because we can go far in a short amount of time when we eliminate all the other, how's your day? What's up? How are you feeling? Because all that happens between the calls. So that's it. And it's only $100 a month right now.
So how can they contact you?
I would say they can give me a call, 775-301-5756. That's my business line.
5756?
Yep, 775-301-5756. So they can text or call that number. Or they can just reach out to me on Facebook Messenger, or send me an email, Pamela@PamelaZimmer.com.
Right, let me add your email here. Pamela. I'm so glad that you came up with such an easy URL. I've regretted having mine be so long.
With the mindful media services.
It just takes so long to type it all out. So
yeah,
my next business will be a little bit more.
So here's what you have to do, Marcia, because I don't type mine out all the time. I made a quick text for myself. So I just type PZE on whatever keyboard and out pops my email.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I'll give that a try.
yeah. Other people still have to type it all out, but you can make it easy.
All right.
I'm all about easy and simple strategies. So
yes.
Yes.
I think we both are. So Pamela, thanks so much for your time today. This was just delightful. And I'm
thank you.
Really happy to share your information with my community. And I know we overlap with communities too, but I'm hoping that some people who haven't met you before are seeing this and can understand how important it is for them to pay attention to their own self-care. And just reach out to Pamela. Even if this program doesn't sound right to you, maybe just having a conversation with her will help you kind of guide your process and help you to realize the priorities that you need in your life right now so that you can care for your loved ones in this critical time and care for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
We can all step out as better people because of knowing you, Pamela.
Oh, thank you, Marcia. Thank you. I was excited when we talked about doing this together, and I'm honored to be introduced to your community. And I love working with you both ways, as a client and as your coach. And I just know that self-care isn't selfish, it's essential. And I would love for anyone to reach out to me, again, even if they're not sure if it's right or wrong, if it's a good fit or not. Let's just have a conversation. $100, I think everyone's worth $100 for a month of self-care.
Mhm.
And so I just thank you. I thank you so much, Marcia, for this opportunity and this time.
Very welcome. And I'm so excited the technology worked really well, Pamela. So I'm not sure how much of this you could see from your end, but um, I we have broadcast from a Zoom meeting room live onto my business Facebook page. And then I shared it with my profile page. And then did you have an opportunity to share yours?
I didn't yet. I wanted to
Okay.
be present with you here. I didn't want to
Yes.
be fumbling on my phone. So as soon as we're done here, I'll go share it to my group and my profile page.
Perfect.
And I love this. Like, you teach everything video and how to get your presence out there more on social media. And so this is such a great example, a living training example of
Yeah.
how to do what it is that you're teaching us to do.
Well, it's really exciting. And I just got notification about an hour or so before we went live. Facebook is going to be instituting a whole bunch of new video features. And I think within the next week, we're going to start seeing people using them. They want to compete with Zoom. They've
Ah,
seen how many people are using Zoom to come in and do interviews like this because about 6 months or so ago, they stopped the ability for us to go live on Facebook and bring in someone as a guest. They're going to reinstitute that. And they're going to
wow.
have meeting rooms where you can have a whole bunch of people in there. And,
Wow.
and you're going to be able to do a virtual background and augmented reality background. So some real cool things are coming down the pike. I'll be sharing more of that with you all as all of that unfolds. But
Yeah.
I'm Marcia O'Malley with Mindful Media Services, and I am so excited to be able to share special guests like Pamela. Um, I'm going to be doing this periodically throughout forever now. This was one of the things that I really stepped up to in this last month since I've been with our stay-at-home orders. I've been finding people who are doing really important and unique things and things that I wanted to be sure were shared with the world. So I've arranged to do interviews and bring them on live as guests. And Pamela's the next one that came in through the chute. So thanks again, Pamela. Thank you all for watching us today. If you're watching in a replay, please be sure to let us know. Um, let us know what your biggest challenge with self-care is. Type that down in the comment area, and we'll be watching this over time. We'll make sure that Pamela reaches out to you and maybe gives you some suggestions that you hadn't thought of yet that'll help you through this difficult time. So until we see you again, you all, take care and thank you so much for joining us.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Okay, bye-bye.